Hello everyone, greetings to all. Today I'll tell you something about luminous bodies and microvita. Uh, let's talk about gandhapishćas. In gandhapishćas, gandh means smell. So the word pishacha means a kind of preet yoni. Whether or not human beings become dev yonis after their demise depends upon their nature of mentality. Only those human beings who were elevated during their lifetime become dev yonis, that is, luminous bodies, after they die. So, if you want to know what are dev yonis, I have already covered on this topic, and please go and watch part 3 Microvitum play of dev yonis. So you'll be better knowing about this kind of dev yonis. There are various 7 kind of dev yonis I've mentioned over there. On the other hand, disembodied souls attain the status of preet yonis until they are reborn in other forms. That is, when people with many demerits die, they become preet yonis according to their defective mentality. These preet yonis are divided into several categories. First is Durmukha, second is Kabandha, third is Madhya Kapala, fourth is Mahakapala, fifth is Brahma Daita, or you can say Brahma Pishacha, sixth is uh, Akshi Preta, and seventh is Pishacha. So let me explain you all one by one. First one is Durmukh Pret yonis. There are people who give mental clash to others due to their lack of education or for some other reason. So after their death, they want to continue giving mental clash to others as Durmukha Pret yonis. So these Pret yonis are reborn as human beings after undergoing the consequences of their actions for a long time. Second one is Kabandha. People who commit suicide due to humiliation, psychic distortion, frustration, or the overpowering influence of excessive attachment, anger, greed, vanity, jealous, etc., get the status of uh, Kabandha yoni after their death. So, whether these entities happen to see other human beings under the spell of psychic derangement, they incite them to commit suicide. Third is Madhya Kapla. People who are mentally restless or who have an unstable nature say one thing in the morning, something else at midnight, and something different again in the evening. So, due to their restlessness, they not only cause trouble for themselves, they also cause trouble for others, and they get the status of Kapla after their demise. Fourth one is Maha Kapla. Those who harm others while trying to fulfill their own selfish ends, and those who practice avidya tantra in the name of vidya tantra, and those with a sinister sadistic nature who mercilessly kill millions of innocent people by manufacturing lethal weapons get the status of Mahakapala after their demise. They always keep trying to destroy the living world. And the fifth one is Brahma Deta or Brahma Pishacha. These are like those intellectuals who do not utilize their intellect for constructive purposes but rather misuse their intellect to suppress others or create inferiority complexes in others, get this status and after their demise. And sixth one is Akshi Preta. Those who always emerge in destructive activities goaded by their ambition, regardless of their ability, and those who are not averse to committing any heinous crime to fulfill their ambition get this status after their demise, and they are reborn as human beings after reaping the consequences of their actions for a long period of time. And the seventh one is Pishacha. So these are those who look upon everything as their object of enjoyment without considering whether or not they are edible, get this status after their demise, and they're kind of negative microvita. Shri Shri Anand Murti ji has already told about microvita that they move through tanmantras, that is the inferences of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. These five inferences are the carriers of these microvita. The movement from sound to smell represent movement towards crudity, and the movement from smell to sound represents movement towards subtlety. Negative microvita prefer the smell tanmantra more than the sound tanmantra, and in the same way, positive microvita prefer the sound tanmantra more than the smell tanmantra. So, in other words, negative microvita do not like the sound tanmantra as much as they like the smell tanmantra. And similarly, positive microvita do not like the smell tanmantra as much as negative microvita does. Baba says that various kinds of negative microvita, which have up to now been called a virus, damage human beings. Different diseases take the help of different kinds of tanmantras from country to country, from planet to planet, and from the far distant frontiers of the universe. These negative microvita carry the seeds of destructive diseases. These varieties of negative microvita also spread mean mindedness and negative psychic complexes. Similarly, from various planets and distant nebulae, varieties of positive microvita bring pious, sentient thoughts and elevating sentiments. Likewise, the pious aspirations and sentiments of a mighty personality and those of many individuals penetrate into the cosmic wave and spread throughout the universe with the help of these positive microvita. So these positive microvita convert milk into curd and thereby serve humanity. They also guide humans' sentiments and ideas along the path of synthesis so that these sentiments and ideas are eventually transmuted into pinnacled intellect. Or the other way around, one can say that these positive microvita are the emanations of Param Purusha, sorry, the effulgence of Param Purusha. So there are some diseases, and their number is not negligible, which are carried by the inference of smell. Most of the skin diseases and boils, which have a bad smell, are carried by the smell inference. The disease of the laryngitis, in which the voice becomes hoarse and ulcers in the throat emit a foul smell, is invariably carried by the inference of smell. So, those who sing for long periods of time or deliver lengthy speeches are likely to be attacked by laryngitis, which is carried by negative microvita. This disease can be avoided or cured if Sarvangasan, which is also known as shoulder stand, and Matsya Mudra, fish pose, are practiced regularly in ascending and descending order. Then cloves and betel leaves are boiled together, and the warm water is drunk through the nose, and the portion of the tongue near the vulva is then cleaned with the middle finger of the hand while the water is still in the throat. So finally, the water should be ejected from the mouth. So, negative microvita also attack the human mind through the smell inference. If a person sits in a wine bar or pub and the smell of different alcoholic beverages enters one's nose, the smell will influence one's mind. One may also order a drink from the bar. So it is said that good company leads to emancipation. Conversely, evil company leads to bondages. So, although the human mind and body are attacked via the five inferences, virulent attacks come from the smell inference and then next from the form inference. If even a decent man visits an area which is not usually frequented by decent gentlemen, his mind is bound to degenerate. When referring to evil company, good people include bad places. Negative microvita carried by smell inference cannot easily influence the minds of those who are engaged in elevating their minds through sadhana. Those whose minds mostly roam in the upper plexi, or those who are keen to roam in the upper plexi. So even if negative microvita do influence the mind of such people, they cannot influence the mind as easily as the body. So negative microvita cannot influence a person's mind at all when one's mind is moving in the higher chakras. So they cannot even fully control the body, although they can have a negative influence to some extent. If a person in a state of meditation keeps his or her hand concentrated, sorry, mind, if a person in a state of meditation keeps his or her mind concentrated at a higher chakra for a long time, and immediately after that negative microvita carried by the smell inference enter the body, these negative microvita cannot overpower the person, but they can do so partially. But if the mind moves towards crude objects, at that time the negative microvita do not spare the person. They will attack the person severely. This sort of negative microvita about which we are talking is called gandhapishćas. So there is another point which is very beautifully explained by Sri Anand Murthy ji. He says that ghosts or elves are not really ghosts and elves; they are gandhapishćas. With the dawning of reason and intellect on the dogma-infected minds of the people of the past, the clouds of ignorance began to disappear from the human mind. So called ghosts, elves, goblins, demons, etc., are disappearing into nothingness. The disembodied minds of diseased persons who have certain merits or demerits were sometimes wrongly called Pratyonis. In fact, they are the entities which are the carriers of so called merits or demerits. Of all the varieties of negative microvita, those which are carried by the senses and are harmful are known as gandhapishćas, and these gandhapishćas have their different categories. This discourse was given by Sri Anand Murthy ji on 18 September 1988 in Kolkata. So, to understand what a microvita or microvitum is, you need to go through all the parts of microvita. So, when you hear these videos, you will understand the real meaning of microvita. So, I end the vlog. Thank you very much.